All right, so when looking through all of Cole's readings, I looked at a variety of the different values, but in the end, I chose change seen as natural and positive, as well as competition. What I focused on was the gym. I focused on the value of change seen as natural and positive because the gym, this is just a picture of the recreation center, and this is a photo of the swimming pool. The gym is a place where in the United States, people are always trying to push themselves, grow, and improve in their everyday life, which is done through change. At the gym, individuals are always working to become stronger as well as healthier, which will help them lead to confidence and improvement in their bodies and over time. I do agree with Cole's descriptions of the values Americans live by because he says how in American minds, change is strongly linked to development as well as improvement. And this is something that I have definitely noticed. This kind of reflects how in the American mindset that there are always ways to do better. This does apply to Americans because when going to the local recreation center, you might see people enrolled in nutrition classes, which could help them improve their diet, which would ultimately help them lead to more success. Or you could see people working with a personal trainer, as shown here, which is also trying to help them focus on strength as well as training to do better in their everyday life. In each of these cases, though, change is viewed not really as a threat or a sign of weakness, but more as something to be embraced. It shows your strength and all of your abilities. And this is just kind of the belief that Americans have, which is you can always evolve and you can always be a better version of yourself by putting the work in. Which also demonstrates how America is focused on growing ultimately in the end. In my host country, this value is different. They are more traditional as well as focused on preserving culture. Change is not as common in these countries. This can kind of be shown through the architecture and buildings in Europe, as you can see right here. Many of these buildings have been around for thousands of years, but they are a part of their ways of life. They are something that the people living there grew up with, as well as their ancestors and beyond. But yeah, these American values are more in a negative tone for European, or when thinking of Europeans, because Europeans aren't as focused on changing as well as adapting. They like their tradition and like having things the way they were back then. Yeah, in America, I feel like we are quicker to switch things around, but in other countries, it takes a lot longer to adjust and to change a variety of aspects. However, I don't believe that this is something that will bring tension while abroad, because I've learned to understand the traditions and customs of a country's history, and I've learned that although we have different values around change, neither is wrong or right. It's about showing mutual respect, and I'm confident that I will be able to use my own practices while appreciating others' values. Additionally, I focused on the competitive aspect. I focused on the gym again, whether someone is striving to lift heavier weights or push themselves alongside a friend demonstrates the drive and determination Americans have to surpass goals and achievements. I agree with Cole's description of the values Americans live by, because many Americans believe that competition brings out the best in individuals. Rather, if this is in the workplace where individuals are motivated by promotions or gaining more benefits than fellow employees, competition is not something that is just limited to these areas. It is around a variety of different aspects. However, my host competition is my host country doesn't prioritize this as much. They have a greater focus on sharing cultural traditions and fostering respect towards your family as well as your friends, rather than competing against others. People take pride in doing their work without as much as a focus on impressing others. They want to honor their community, their heritage, and they value the idea of unity over rivalry. Again, I do not anticipate any tension with my own beliefs, because I have learned to appreciate both the motivation that comes from healthy competition and a sense of community gathered from collaborating with others. And I know that I can create strong connections without working towards other people. This is something I'm familiar with in my classes. We are always working towards a common goal and getting the work done rather than racing to see who can get it done quicker. Overall, although the American values are unique compared to other countries' values, I know that I will be able to respect other countries' values while staying true to my own ways. A way that I can do this is through additional research on my country and talking to others who experienced their time abroad so I can better prepare.